Zay Flowers is kind of interesting. I know everybody's so off of Zay Flowers, but he's got an elite quarterback. Quarterback threw 40 touchdowns last year. Zay Flowers just didn't score like any of them.
He had
I think
4.
that's going to regress. Yeah, I think that's going to regress from Lamar, but I don't think Flowers is only going to score 4 again.
Totally agree. I like Zay Flowers' cost, and I think his opportunity can go up. Again, if Lamar, can he repeat the 40 touchdown season? I'm going to get bet probably not. But could he throw 30 again? Sure. And would Zay Flowers have more than 4? I would bet he would.
Yeah, this is so I tweeted this out August 4th, and let me share it real quick. So I said, Zay Flowers. Can I get this off the screen? There we go. Lamar threw 41 last year, right? 32nd in points per game, 25th in total PPR points. His ADP right now 59 and wide receiver 26. Now, if we go back right now, he is wide receiver 25. And his ADP is 58. So he's moved up one spot in both spots. But Ravens 31st in passing attempts. Is there a possibility that goes up a little bit? I think so. Same with the Eagles, 32nd in passing attempts. But when we look at it, we're so much in on A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith that both of those guys get drafted higher than Zay Flowers, who's not sharing that with anybody outside of Mark Andrews, right? But for some reason, Devonta Smith goes ahead of him, one spot, sorry, right there. And then DK, who's, of course, AJ, who's, of course, much better than both of those guys. But, like, I don't know. We're talking about, we're and somehow we take the wide receiver 2 in an offense that was 32nd in passing attempts with Devonta Smith, but we're not comfortable taking, the Ravens wide receiver 1 who was 31st in passing attempts. Like, why is that? I mean, that doesn't add up to me. I don't get that.
Yeah, and you make the point it can't get much worse. Well, it literally can't. It can go one spot worse. So it's not crazy to project it to go up. And the Ravens ran the ball so proficiently last year. It's just different. And then they were so efficient when they did throw the ball. It's hard to project that happening again, but it's also not difficult to project them throwing the ball more. It's going to be a competitive team.
Well, and this is the other thing. Lamar Jackson threw 23 more touchdowns than Jalen Hurts last year. 23. He also threw for 1,269 more passing yards. So, there's more touchdowns being thrown. There's more yards being, more passing yards to be had. And we're just assuming that we want to take the 2 assets in the offense that's 32nd in passing. And I actually think that they're going to bounce back. I actually think the Eagles have a better chance of bouncing back because I do think that, they're going to pull back a little bit on Barkley's workload, at least to start the year. And I do think that bounces back to, somewhere closer to 20s in terms of pass rate. But overall, I don't know. Zay Flowers is just somebody I don't click often, but he's just somebody that I don't know. I feel like everyone's just so quick to just be out on him. And I don't know. My gut's telling me he might just be that guy that nobody wants to draft that ends up being really good this year.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I really like Zay Flowers. We talked about him yesterday on our mock draft. Coach took him at, I can't remember if it was the 5-12 or the 4-12, somewhere in that range. And I love the pick. I really do. I think he's a guy that has, safe wide receiver 2 upside, possible wide receiver 1. Like, I think it'd be a late wide receiver 1 if he had some sort of great year. Let's say he got, 10 touchdowns, 1,200 yards, and 100 catches. But at the same time, I think that we're fading him a little bit too much. And you mentioned this Eagles offense in the passing game. It's also not in Hurts' DNA. Like, he's an okay passer. He played lights out in the Super Bowl, to his credit. He played fantastic in that game. But over the course of the season, he's not necessarily shown to be some sort of truly gifted passer where he's going to change the game. It's his legs, it's that run game, it's that offensive line that have really helped the Eagles go forward.
Yeah, and let's take one more look here at Flowers last year. 74 receptions, 116 targets, played all 17 games, played 16 the year before, so missed one game. Look, he's never been a guy that scores a lot of touchdowns, at least in the first 2 seasons. And when you look at the average points per game, we talked about it in the beginning, he's not there yet. But I just, something tells me that, if we take a look and we maybe assume that there's a possibility that, some of those touchdowns go his way and some of those looks go his way. I mean, it's not like they added anybody spectacular. I know a lot of people are on Rashad Bateman and think that he's the better pick in that offense. I'm not really there yet.
No.
But I mean, explosive rating number 4 in the NFL. So he's a big play player. Target separation number 9th. Now I'm just kind of taking a look at just to see what stats he was good in last year, which is cherry picking, of course, but that's what we do.
The receiving yards, let's look there. Only just over 1,059. That could easily be 1,200. And you pair that with, a couple extra touchdowns, that's going to drastically change his points per game. And it's going to shoot him up that list. What did we just talk about? The guy that was 12th on that list was at 16 points per game, and he had 12. So if he goes up to 14, 15, now we're talking about him being in the top 20.
Well, and you look at target share, 25th, 25.7, right? So 18th in the top 20 in target share. Target rate's solid at 25.6%. So, yeah, I mean, routes run just were not high because they just didn't pass the ball a ton. If there's a possibility that they bounce back and they throw the football even just a little bit more here, right? With this kind of target share and this kind of target rate, you got to assume that he can crack inside the top 20. That's what those numbers tell me.